So the latest scandal here with Cardinal Mahony. The question is, can the Catholic Church recover? And I'm saying, yeah, it will, because you have to look at this in the context of what's happening in the world in general. Now, in these two cartoons, in these two pictures here, you have Cardinal. He looks as if he's kind of like saddened, but you know, when he caught, some people show remorse and so on. And the other one, where the two older boys are saying that, watch this priest, he's transferred from LA, and so on. But what can you do? I mean, here is a tradition that has been with the church forever, and the church has an intention of breaking it. And I mean, many of these priests, as children, they couldn't understand the gravity of the whole ministry or whatever they were committing themselves to. But I mean, they're eunuchs, and they're eunuchs. The Bible does talk about people who have not married and so on, and they could devote themselves to God and His work, etc. And but the majority of people who are in roles that seem to be eunuchs or sort of practicing no sex, it's kind of hilarious because it's not one makes oneself like that. You have to be born that way, perhaps. And I don't see many people like that. Many who sort of testify that this is their condition, they end up aborting children. They have sex with fellow men. They have secret, romantic relationship with members of the church or other women and so on. And so, I mean, I don't want to get political with this thing and asking whether the church is really a church or whether it's a political organization or what. That's not my point here. My point though is that, will the church survive these kind of assaults? You see, long ago, maybe they stood a chance of being sort of sidelined. But today, when evil is taking over the world and gays are now officially allowed to be married around the world and so on, and the world is involved in a variety of evils: Ouija board, Halloween, sidekicks, palm reading, astrology, Wicca, and various other voodoo and various other types of evil. Then this is just another form of evil. And so evil has a way of sort of discounting things and collaborating. What the scriptures seem to suggest that in the end time, the evil people will be more dominant, and they'll try to exterminate God's people. And so, in the context of the time in which we live, when evil is pervasive and prevalent and everywhere, in my view, this ain't going to be anything that will last forever. Some people would like to carry it on and on and on, hoping that it's going to do something that Scripture suggests otherwise. And so, you have corrupt governments, you have corrupt citizens, you have corrupt all over. And not only the Catholic Church, but you have other churches that the clergy have children with, members of the congregation. Some of them using drugs. We had Pastor Long, or Reverend Long, Bishop Long in Atlanta. He used to take these boys on trips and so on. We had this other pastor out in Colorado who would buy methamphetamine, and he will have male prostitutes and so on. He has a family, he has a wife and children. So evil is everywhere. And so in this context then I would say that, no, this is not going to kill the church. I mean, it's doing some financial damage, but I don't want to get into other things also. But the church got money to burn. That's not going to bankrupt them. They may allege that they're bankrupt, but they have some serious money out there. And so it's unfortunate that, they're betraying the trust of those who think that religion is kind of like, or religious leaders are kind of like saints. I'm not impressed, period. And I'm not traumatized by nothing. I'm just seeing that, because even as a child, I knew of these kind of things that are going on. I mean, well, we are saying in Guyana like this: you think I'm an altar boy or what? Somebody talking in sexual talk to you, say, you think I'm an altar boy? So what they were suggesting that altar boys had a tendency to be gay. Now, I don't know if they were turned out by some priest or whether they themselves independently were gay. and then got into a position where they could get these things going with the priests and so on. But nevertheless, the point here is that these are children, and whether they have a sexual orientation that is gay or lesbian or whatever, they're children, and an adult having sex with a child, whether heterosexual or homosexual or whatever, it's illegal. And I don't know what's just the Catholic Church. I mean, they need to know what they need to do. And the courts and the state maybe is trying to choreograph something to them that maybe they probably should let these guys marry. But then on the other hand, I mean, they're married people that's doing sort of sex on the side with fellow men and going overseas to do child sex and so forth, pedophilia and so forth. So I don't know what the Pope is going to do with this. And I mean, who is innocent? The question then is, who is innocent and hasn't done this child pedophilia thing or engaged in homosexual activity? I mean, I don't think that I am going to believe that all priests. I'm sure that there is a priest who has never done anything. Like he just devoted himself to what he perceived as God's business, and he isn't no gay. He isn't doing no member of the parish, or he isn't doing his own hand, or he's not doing any of pornography or whatever. He's just straight up dedicated to God. I'm sure there are many like that, and I'm sure that there are nuns also like that. But for the rest, who knows?